Hi. So I have been thinking for a long time that it would be great to do more videos talking about my nomadic adventure. And then I recently had a conversation with a good friend, like one of my oldest friends from childhood. Um, and we were just kind of chatting and catching up when I was visiting her in Pennsylvania. And we started talking about paint along videos. And I was like, that could be a really cool way to combine a bunch of the things that I'm wanting to do because there's a lot. I'm doing a lot of writing, I'm doing a lot of teaching and helping other people use art materials to develop all kinds of things that they're wanting to develop. And I'm like, I have all kinds of videos that I want to make about content. And I just, when we were talking about this, I thought, wait a second, this could be a really great way to get in motion and kind of tick a lot of boxes at once. And one of the ideas that I teach, that I practice, that I use a lot in my own life, that I teach people to work with in the lab is connected to overcoming perfectionism. And it's really about anti-preciousness and this idea that we can get into motion quickly when we let go of preciousness. It's connected to perfectionism. Oftentimes it has to do with our materials and the way that we work with our materials, but it can also be even the way we approach a project, right? So if we are thinking about doing something and then we kind of get spooked by all of the steps that go into it, all of the possible things that we could do to prepare, sometimes we can really stay stuck. We get overwhelmed. We don't get into motion rather than being willing to just do something imperfectly and just get started. So when I started thinking about this project, sparked by a conversation with my friend, I did a little bit of thinking and I was looking at on YouTube at like paint along videos and I was like, oh my gosh, look at all these people. They have this beautiful lighting and they have all these different angles of camera and this and that and the other thing. And, really I could think about all the different ideas I want to share and where do I start? And I'm just not willing. I'm just not willing to stop myself from getting into motion until I have sorted all of those things out because I have so many different creative and work projects that I'm working on that it can be very difficult to to balance all of them unless I'm willing to forge ahead and do some of them imperfectly. So I thought today I just ended a conversation with an alumna of the lab and we were talking and when I hung up, I was just feeling sparked and I thought, I'm just going to make one. I'm just going to do it. I'm not going to worry about how it looks. I'm not going to, all I need to do is make sure that I can get my overhead camera work. Like, what application should I use? I'm using QuickTime. We'll see if that ends up being a bad idea or a good idea. I don't know what's going to happen. Maybe I'll share it. Maybe I won't. If I don't share it, I still will have learned something and spent some time making art. So come with me as I practice anti-perfectionism, as I practice anti-preciousness, and paint along with me or just hang out and do your thing while we go. Okay, so here we go. So I'm trying to decide which block I want to use, and I'm leaning. I think I'm gonna do this one because I don't know if you can see, but there's actually like some dirt and like already some sort of, it's like messed up, and that actually kind of makes it perfect for this theme of anti-preciousness and anti-perfectionism, of just being like, all right, that's okay. It's okay that it already has some schmutz on it. We're just gonna go with it. And let's see, I'm gonna see which palette I want to use today. I'm going to grab, I'm not finding the palette I'm looking for. This is probably why people plan things, so they don't have all this like dead time. I think I want this palette. And why do I want it? I don't know. Yeah, so I'm going to start by just using what I've got here. And I love the idea of making more videos and particularly getting into some of these, a couple of things. One, the concepts that we talk about in the lab. I think it's like a really, uh, it's great to write about these things, and I am doing a lot of writing, and I also think it's nice to be able to talk about them, because I'm always sort of sharing these things in workshops and in class, and kind of seems like it might be fun to start bringing them in a little bit to video. But I also thought that it would be interesting to do some wow, it's like funny multitasking. I think this is why people edit the audio tracks separately. See, learning that doesn't mean that I'll necessarily do that. And like the thing is, I think a lot about like what am I willing and not willing to do, because this is my time on earth. This is my time here, and it's sort of like anything that I'm doing. There are times that we do things that we don't necessarily want to do, and or like there are aspects of the creative process or of anything that we're working on that we might not prefer, right? It might not be our favorite part. And I've done plenty of that kind of stuff in order to make the work that I've done that matters to me. And so often we do have this ability to sort of to just say like what am I willing and not willing to give my time to? And I'm not sure in this moment that I have the capacity to do things like perfectly. But I definitely have the capacity to jump right in and do them imperfectly. And I think that's like one of the ways that we actually get stuff done. So, or like do things that matter to us. So let's see. I'm going to grab out. These are some things I haven't really gotten to play with before. And I got these. Oops. I want to say I was in Houston. I should look up this story at some point. And they're pigment bars that, can you see how they've just been like sitting in this beautiful little nest? And they're handmade. I ended up, the night that I got these, I ended up having a phone conversation with the person who had made them. That's maybe a story for another day. It was like very unexpected. But what a great example. These pigment bars have been sitting here totally untouched. I've just never found the time for them. And I could sit here and be like, what should I do with them the first time I use them? And they might end up just staying untouched for a long time. And for some reason today, starting this video, I felt pulled towards them. And so I'm going to do that. I'm going to use them. I think you can paint right into them, or you can, like I'm guessing that if I take the brush and just like paint the edge, that I'm probably going to pick up, my guess is that I'm going to pick up some pigment there. Oh, no, I am wrong. That's cool. How cool to be so wrong. That is so interesting. It's hardly picking up anything. Oh my gosh, it's like a tiny little bit. Like a little phantom. I almost like that little phantom. Ah! Okay, see, anti-preciousness. Everything's flying everywhere. What a great example of everything I'm trying to say here. All right, here we go. There we go. Now, once it's on here, I wonder if it's workable. It's something that I can paint into. Yeah. Wow, how cool is that it didn't really get activated when I painted right onto it. Anyway, yeah, so something I've been thinking about a lot lately is and teaching about is like how much is possible when we let go of preciousness and of needing to kind of get it all right. And part of this is just like, it's not that it's not worth really like taking the time to to learn and to do things well or even correctly if there is a correct. It's more so that like that can sometimes end up really limiting what we ever end up actually doing at all. And when we take our ideas and we allow ourselves to just go with them and give it a try, sometimes we're going to end up like allowing ourselves to have experiences that we otherwise might never have. Because like if we're sometimes, not always, sometimes if we're waiting until we can like do it, again quotes, right, or perfectly, we're going to be waiting really forever. And there is a cost to doing that kind of, I don't know, that kind of approach, that kind of waiting. So this is the first time for me, I guess like ever really, that I've done something like this where I often give myself opportunities to paint and to play. My approach does tend to be like I'm not like planning. I'm not I mean not all the time, but oftentimes I'm sitting and I'm kind of responding in the moment. I'm rarely narrating that and trying to talk about ideas that matter to me as I go. Right? So this is a brand new experience, and I think there's something really amazing about just trying it, right? Just like letting ourselves have that experience of just diving in and seeing like what happens if I let myself do it instead of thinking about doing it. What will I discover? And we can get really, really stopped by wanting to make sure that we do it right. And like, if you have a lot of creative ideas, it can sometimes hurt to not be able to do them all, or get everything done. And so sometimes being willing to do at least some of your ideas with a real embrace of anti-perfection can like mean that you get to do at least some of them sooner, and it's such a joy to be able to do that. So I'm just kind of playing, and I'm really enjoying these scraggly little branches, and sort of thinking about, again, I just kind of follow my instinct here to jump in and start. So I feel like in like the real videos, they the people will always talk about, like these are the materials that I'm using and this is what I've got. And there's a place for that. And for me right now, I'm working on teaching and filling up the upcoming lab course and teaching the current cohort, and there's just so many different pieces going on that if I wait until I can, plan it all out and do it perfectly, I might have to wait a really long time, and I don't want to do that because I'm kind of excited to jump in and just sort of play with it. And even though this is the first, this is like the first video I'm actually making like this, it's not like the first kind of video I was thinking of making. I wasn't planning to talk about anti-perfectionism today or anti-preciousness. I was thinking that maybe it would be cool to make some videos kind of sharing about and starting to talk about the nomadic adventure, like some of the stories behind that, because that's what I'm writing about a lot right now. And that said, today, in the moment when I started to think about doing this video, this was where it felt like really organic to start. So I wonder if you've got ideas like that right now that you've been kind of thinking about, and what would come up if you just decided to go ahead and give them a shot and give them a try. I feel like I want to let this, do I? Maybe I want to let this breathe for a second. I'm trying to remember. Like, I have so many materials that I haven't pulled out in a while, because today I'm in Massachusetts. I have been in Philly, and it's so funny. This is so organic that I didn't even pull out all my materials. I had something that I was, oh, here it is. I have a messy, blick, torn apart bag of things that I was thinking might be fun to play with. But yeah, like, I have all these tools that I have not really gotten to play with much lately. I shouldn't say not gotten to. I could have if I wanted to, but I've just been in motion, so I haven't really pulled them out. And it feels really nice to just like get these out and play with whatever is here. And I'm laughing because I'm really like in the moment. This is such a great example of anti-preciousness, is that like I'm taking something that I've done and kind of scribbling over it, and I don't have a plan. But I just more wanted to use this, and I was like, I kind of like how these trees look the way they are, but I'm just gonna go in and like ruin them, quote unquote. And sometimes when we do that, we might end up having a twinge of like, that I don't know about that, if that looks good. But we can kind of allow ourselves that experience of just sort of, all right, it's all right. I can play with it. I can quote unquote ruin it. And like, I'm wondering what happens if I like bring this tool in over it. So these are Derwent Inktense sticks. I have this problem where like I always end up buying like water soluble like watercolor pencils and like ink sticks and things, and then I almost always end up being like, this isn't exactly what I necessarily am wanting, and then I buy more of them. I don't know. I think I really like these ones though. I couldn't stop playing with them in the store. And sometimes like a material just it's not time for it yet until it is. And I'm just not worrying about how I quote unquote should be using these, and more just letting myself enjoy playing with these materials. Yeah, so I'm in Massachusetts and I'm cat sitting, and it's really nice because I have like this whole sprawled out, like this giant table that I'm able to sprawl out on, which is sometimes not a situation that I have. And I'm just trying to decide if I want the other trees to get the same treatment or not. But I'm having so much fun with this that's going to be the answer. They're going to get it because this is a fun movement to make. It's going to run into the sun most likely. And yeah, so I thought like this is actually a great, sometimes when we're trying to try something in an anti-precious way, we're trying to like not wait for the perfect moment. the first offer you get from yourself that, like, oh, maybe this could be good conditions to try it, sometimes just seizing that moment can be so helpful. And for me, I was sort of already wanting to try this, and then I just sort of thought, well, this is as good a time as any, because like I have this, I'm cat sitting and I have this whole house quiet to myself. And not that you need, again, you don't need perfect conditions, right? I could do this even if there are people here. But I just got that sort of invitation maybe from myself to kind of go for it and take the opportunity. Yeah. All right. So it's so funny. Like, this is such a new experience. I'm like talking to you, and it feels very normal because I'm always talking to folks, and in the lab, my course, or in the life workshop, my Get It Done group, and so it like feels almost like I'm talking to them, which I guess, like, hi guys, if you're here. It doesn't feel quite as strange maybe as it could, but then it feels a little strange that it doesn't feel strange. And this is a good moment where I'm like, I kind of thought the purple in there would look cool, sort of like a beautiful eggplant color. And now I'm like a little bit unconvinced. I don't know. And so I'm going to keep going and just commit and move through that part where it's like, I don't know. And I kind of like the idea of going like right over the sun, which is going to give me some mud. We'll see what happens there. Just kind of keep going and trust that, like, it's okay, it's not, the world is not going to begin and end on whether I make the tree have some purple in it, like, stakes are not that high. And your sketchbook is like such a nice place to have, like, to be able to take risks that that are not that high stakes. Yeah, there we go. I wonder if I'm defying the laws of trees. Like, aren't they supposed to be broadest at the bottom? I don't know. Like, what's the rule of trees? Does anyone know? I think that, like, they're always, like, how the branches always are thicker and then get skinnier as you go up. And then I don't know if the tree cover, if it's the same kind of deal. But let's see, what else do I want to, it's been so, oops, I just rang, I don't know if you heard that, I just accidentally rang my little orange bell. So my, this is like this kit that I use to hold art supplies. There's so much in here that, like, everything has a story. But anyway, when I was in Boston, I found this bell in an antique market, and I just, like, had to get it. And the person was so grateful that I bought it, because they were like, people will not stop ringing that. It kind of matches the sun, doesn't it? That's like the exact orange, or close to it. Actually, not in real life, more on the screen. But anyway, so I love it. And because I'm a nomad, I have to pack things up. And so I keep it in here with my art supplies. But yeah, all right. So I don't know what I'm looking for. I guess this is a place where people would normally edit, maybe. And I'm wondering, like, I'm finding all these. One thing I love about a lot of art stores will just, like, pack up. They'll use all the boxes again, and so they'll pack things up, and then I usually keep those because, like, I'm on the road. So I've just got this really bright colored oil stick, which, interestingly, it kind of, like, I don't know, it feels like it goes a little bit. And I'm just gonna see what happens if I give myself a little faux frame. Oh, this thing seems like it might have, like, I don't know if it's dried out or if it's just having trouble with, like, this this paper, because maybe it's not totally dry. I'm not sure. There's something about it that's not behaving the way I would expect. I kind of expected it to be a lot smoother. Let's see what happens when it goes over the tree. Obviously, you can like wait instead of just forging ahead. I'm feeling very anti-precious today, so I'm just not going to do that. It'll be so interesting to see if I actually share this or if this ends up being, I don't know, just like a thing for me. I feel like in the spirit of anti-preciousness, it might be nice to share it. I'm gonna just rub some of that in. Normally I like to have oh good, I do. I like to have a paper towel with me because I start to make a mess of myself, and it can be good to have. I don't even know why we have this little wad here, but may as well use it, you know? If it's here, I may as well use it. Okay, well, it's not very easy to use, so maybe not. I'm just gonna rub some of these in. I don't work with oil a lot because it's like actually kind of my one rule as a nomad. I have very few like you may nots, and meaning I kind of try to never say never. The one thing that I say never to, that I'm not allowed to do, and when I say allowed, I mean like I it's my own rule. I am my own, adult here, limiting that I'm not allowed to do oil, like have oil paint stuff, because it's like I don't want to deal with all of that like toxic stuff, especially when I'm driving. And I don't even really know of what I speak. I just know that that oils like have solvents and stuff, and I live my life moving around from place to place, and it doesn't seem responsible to, or I don't want the responsibility is a better way of saying it. I don't want the responsibility of trying to figure out solvents in a Prius. Okay, so this is interesting. It's like filmed this like weird little, am I supposed to be peeling that? Is this normal? I don't know. It's like formed this outer layer, and oh, look at that. Can you see? It's like got this outer layer, and I'm wondering, and maybe some of you know, if you indeed exist, meaning like if I share this video, if anybody watches this far, it's like, is that part of the material? Oh, peel film before using. Peel film before using, self-sealing. See, this is what we get when we read the directions. That's really funny. Okay. Self-sealing. I wonder how that could be. And that was more than I wanted. And now I'm like not used to the newfound like freedom of it now that I peeled it, and I've ended up getting it like went in more than I was anticipating. And like again, what a perfect anti-precious moment to just sort of say, okay, I'm just gonna embrace that and say yes to that and see what you do. And do I want to rub it in, or do I want to just like let it be, you know? Just let it be. Okay, so I wonder what this stuff is. I'm like, I guess if I was gonna stick it in some acrylic paint or something, I could do something with it there. And I'm just sort of responding to some of that purple that I see. Bringing in a little bit of colored pencil. Shaking the camera as I go. I'm so professional. So professional. It's funny, like another thing that comes into the sort of anti-preciousness, like perfectionism thing, is like I feel like videos are all supposed to be so short, and like it's better to have like a 1-minute video for everything. And so I'm sitting here being like, is this thing even like, do people want to sit here and be here for a longer time, And it's just like, maybe not, but I'm having fun. what's the worst that happens, you know? You left. You left, and there's a woman in Massachusetts making something by herself. So yeah, I'm wondering, like, if you are still here, what are some ways that you could bring anti-preciousness into your life right now, this week? I find that when I practice anti-preciousness here in my art practice, it definitely has an impact on my life outside of my sketchbook. That willingness to try things, just go for it. If you're interested in sort of more thoughts about this, stay tuned. Stay tuned. I'm feeling like there's something that hasn't happened yet here that I want to have happen, and I'm not sure what it is. Not only am I normally not narrating as I go, I'm usually, either just having a conversation about something else while I play, or I'm on my own. But I often will work with multiple blocks at a time, and I'll kind of like put something aside and then come back to it. So this is unusual for me to be, like playing and kind of sticking to the same piece. And I'm curious about how I'll feel about that. And I feel like as I do this, I'm kind of like both liking it and also like losing a little something that I also liked. And that's part of it, that's part of what happens. But that little pop of red is definitely making things feel warmer in a way that I wanted, and kind of like bringing in the border a little bit. Yeah. All right. It's always interesting to look and be like, hey, what do I see here? And what does it make me feel? And I'm gonna, normally I would wash my hands at this point before I pull the tape off. I don't think I'm going to because it's Anti-Preciousness Day. But normally I would. I'm just gonna go ahead and pull the tape off and hope it doesn't, I hope I managed to not smudge it. This tape has been on here for so long. I can't even remember like how long ago I taped it. Sometimes I'll like just have blocks ready, like taped up so that they're ready to go because I paint outside a lot. And I just have no memory of how long this has been this way. Probably at least a year, because I don't think I've used this block in a while. And sometimes I don't take certain blocks with me on the road because like everything I can only carry so much at once. And so it's interesting to think about just kind of like the journey it's been on. The journey the taped block has been on. The amount of time it's been sitting waiting. And if you have art supplies sitting at home waiting, they want you to play with them. They're so ready for you to get in there and make a mess. And I'm just now remembering that this started with a piece of paper that had schmutz on it. It had dirt on it. And it's just like, there's something pleasing to me about the fact that like it had the dirt on it, and I just let that be part of it instead of getting into some mindset of like, oh no, the paper's ruined, or I need to do something like with the paper, or I need to like, I can't make anything good on here because like the paper is not perfect. And it's really easy to think that way. So it's very freeing and good practice to just sort of say, hey, what if I let that be part of it? What if I just embraced that that dirt was supposed to be there? Sometimes easier said than done, to be honest. It depends on if you're already attached to something. All right, there we have it. An anti-precious piece of play. It's interesting. There's like stuff all over. I'm going to blow on it and see what happens. Now it's gone. Okay. There we go. Hooray. It's me again. I did it. I think I did it. My hands are messy. My painting or my little play of art is here, and now it's always going to contain for me this first time that I ever made something like this. And you know, I can let it sit and let it breathe and see like, oh, is there anything else I want to put in there, or will I feel like, oh, this is it, this is done, this is this work of anti-preciousness. So if you enjoyed watching this, please let me know. I didn't know what I was going to talk about or what I was going to make or anything, or even what materials I was going to use, because I was so seizing the moment of anti-preciousness, which is actually the point, like what I want to encourage you to do, and encourage myself to do as it comes to, like, we all have so many things that we might want to try. And for me, I thought, oh, I want to try like making a video and talking about some of these ideas while arting. And it was a lot of fun, and the time just flew by for me anyway. So hope this encourages you, and if it does, let me know, because it will feel great to hear and to know that you are enjoying playing with anti-preciousness, or excited to play with anti-preciousness. All right, see you later, whoever you are.